Hello everyone, it's Alex Souza from QuickShare. Today I'm very proud to be with you, present for the first time Quick 2. For Quick 2, several new goals were added. The first one being bring more power to designers and illustrators to create amazing stories, not only with simple activities but as well as including physics and games. So dozens of new controls for gesturing were added. Also logic and conditions. Also improved sync options. Let me show you some. In this app, I have the sync feature attached to the text layer. But more than just enable a Quick to read and to highlight each word, now we will be able to just add audios to each word, meaning that not only you're going to see the wording highlight, but you're going to be able to enable users to just click a word and see it being played with some effects. This is another example. This is the Snow Queen. For example, here you probably can see lots of different screens or pages. And now you will be able to automatically create navigation menus like this one. So it's going to be pretty much easy to move to page just selecting the correct navigation. And again, Quick will do it for you automatically. This is another example of better controls. You're going to be able, for example, to have vectors in your app, but also based on condition, have things like that. You can pretty much control everything now. The second goal for Quick 2 is to support authors to improve the code generated by Quick using external libraries, for example, and even adding manual additions without losing them after every preview. So for this version, you're going to have integration with external libraries, you have variables, you have conditions, you have manual code options, but also you're going to start to see third-party integration into Quick. And the first ones that I'd love to announce today is a partnership with Code and Web, the makers of Texture Packer and Physics Editor. So if you are using one of these tools, they are in fact already integrated with Quick 2. The next goal was to allow designers and developers to create not only storybooks but commercial application and games. So this is a big one. Physics is there. I mentioned already, external code integration is there. And also for the next release, we are going to have social media integration and some UI components added into Quick 2. I would love to show you this demo, the basketball one. So here you have a simple scene. This was entirely created using Quick 2 without any kind of external code. But with that, as you can see now, you're going to be able to create games with physics applied, and you can do things like, yeah, I'm a horrible basketball player. I'm from Brazil, so yes, my thing is soccer. But as you can see, you have everything here. You have physics, you have variables, you have conditions, you have collisions. And this is going to be great because you're going to be able not only to create storybooks, as I mentioned, but as well as full games using K2 without any kind of external code. The last goal was to improve performance, improve error handling, and as well as speed up as much as possible the experience using the plugin. So I'm very happy to tell you that Quick 2 is 2 or 3 times faster than Quick 1 depending on your application. There's now visual feedback on export. You know exactly what's happened during the export process. But the thing that I love the most is the visual bug handling, meaning that when you press the preview button, if there's any kind of issue with your project, Quick will generate a report to you, not previewing the demo for you. So it's going to tell you there's an issue here, fix it before publish it. So it's going to be much faster, as I mentioned, and much easier to improve your application. talking about this, let me start to showing you the new interface as well as this amazing feature that I love the most, which is the visual book handling. This is Quick 2 new interface. As you can see, it follows the trends in interface design, which are pretty much dark backgrounds to rest your eyes while you are designing your application or your compositions. So this way your eyes rest while your full focus is on your design is only. So the basics are still here. You still have the settings with more controls for you, and you have the options to export image as well as to export page. Another thing is, you see now, if you have the check updates activate, if you are using the latest version or not, and this icon change colors to orange if you are not using the latest one. So there's a visual indication to help you to update versions when they are available. Here you still have the options to create new projects, as you are already familiar with. The main difference here is there's no concept of comics or books anymore, so it simplifies a lot the way to create new projects. But also, let's open a project here, so it's going to be easier to show you the interface. I'm going to open the Floating Fun TE, which is an app made by Greg. Greg has been a tester since the alpha beats, and I'm very thankful to Greg because he has helped a lot the development of Quick 2. So thanks, Greg. So this is the main interface for Quick. As you can see here, we have a new concept which is called toolset. So you have several tool sets here, and in each tool set you have a bunch of features applied. I'm gonna cover them later on, but so again, like in Quick current version, you hold over the button and you see the tooltip. Also, the publishing area is less crowded. You just have the name of the project and the device. Here we do have the option to switch pages and components. You don't have the book icon anymore because honestly it doesn't make sense. It's automatically now when you click publish, and this is an example of the new debug system. It tells you there's an issue with this project. You don't need to, export everything and suffer with your Lua code at the end. So just click here, and Quick will create the report for you, telling exactly where are the issues and how to fix them. Things like, for example, there's a layer named shaped 1 and it has duplicates in the page. So what you should do, rename the layers. There's a layer 1 in a group that doesn't exist anymore. So what you should do, recreate the group. Or there's an action being called from something, a spin or a timer that does not exist anymore. So what you should do, edit this or delete the layer. So much easier to understand better and to fix quickly your issues. Let me show you the interface better. Let me open the basketball demo. So as I mentioned, the toolset concept is very similar to the categories that we have in the past, but now we have features separated and classified by proximity. So for example, in the project and pages toolset, you have things like project properties, and this is new into Quick 2. Now you have the properties concept for project, for page, and for layers. So you click here, and you're going to be able to set several new things for your full project. Things like, would like to have bookmarks, would like to end your application when it's suspend. I mean, if the phone rings, the application today just returns to the last screen, but you can say no, I need to return always to the beginning of the application. As I showed you in the Snow Queen demo, you can export thumbnails from each page. You can create the navigation panel. Say, hey, I want to have a navigation on the top, on the bottom, left, right. So you pretty much define everything. You can set swipe. Also, you can tell the project that this is going to be read from right to left, which is very good for language like the Japanese one. So you have the options to support landscape in both orientations, and if you do so, for example, if you are using physics, it will interact differently if you rotate the device. Also, you can set how to scale your application in different devices. Today, if you need to do that, you have to manually add the config.lua file that Qwik generates to you. Now you can do it visually from here. The layer, the page properties, helps you to define things like what's the scale of the page when it starts. Enable you now, for example, to animate page, start then in a bigger or smaller size and create different effects. The same you can create here. You can set here if there's an in-app purchase and how to unlock this page in this case. This is an interesting one, especially if you are working on teams with developers, or if you are also a developer. You can add external libraries. Pretty much just say, hey, what's the name of the library, where is it, and Qwik will import the library for you and put it in your project. So again, you will never lose code anymore, like you couldn't do in Qwik 1. Another one is add external code. If you need to add external code, you can simply create a code here, print hello, or you can, just paste. And also there's two spaces where you can add code in your final project, in the top of the page and in the bottom. If you export Qwik for the first time, a project using Qwik for the first time, you're gonna see in the code comment lines where this code will be applied. So it's gonna be easier to you to decide where's the best spot to place your code. You can do things like in-app, as you know, multi-language. You can create paste, add audio. There's difference here. Now we have much better control of the audio. You can set if the audio plays when the page starts, if the audio play in several pages, but also you can define the volume for each audio according their channel. You can define a channel, or Qwik can create the channel for you automatically, and you can have the vision. Okay, I have this switch to audio here, it's gonna play us all in channel 2. And if you have global audios, you are gonna be able to see them also in the same page here, and say, okay, I'm not gonna use all channel 1 or 2, for example, because there's already an audio playing across the project. So much simpler and easier to control audio. The actions also interface changed. It's the same interface for buttons and actions, and as you can see, it's much easier to select action, and there's lots of new actions here, and I strongly recommend you to check the online documentation to learn more about them. But it's much easier to create actions at this moment, and even move them up or down if needed. Timers are still the same, but now you have the concept of groups. So in order to create a group, just pick more than one layer and click the create group, name it, and you have a new group. And it's amazing because you're going to be able to animate groups to work with not only layers, but as well as with groups in several features in Qwik 2. You have the hide, like you do in fact in Qwik 1, but now you can not only hide a layer, but the entire page or even a group if you want to. And another new thing here is add variable. So now we are able to create variables and set them across the project if you want. So it's gonna be much easier to create things like quizzes or things like the basketball scores, track scores, for example. The layers and replacements toolset also brings the concept of layer properties. And honestly, I think this is a nice addition because you can set several new options for your layer. Things like randomization position, for example. You may say this layer, I do not want it just fixed in this position. Randomize it between these coordinations here. Also, you can scale it up or down and rotate it. So the moment that the layer appears, it will do whatever you decide to do. You can also set the layer as JPEG here and even set the quality of the JPEG you want to export. And this is really nice if you have backgrounds, for example, and you want to decrease the file size. Just for example, the floating font, the full application that Greg made, reduced it from 55 megabytes to 50 megabytes, just exporting some layers as JPEG. You still have the concept of shared asset here, meaning that if you select a layer and set it's a shared asset, it will be used in several different pages just as one file instead of several different files for each page. And also another thing that several people has asked in the past, it would be nice to see where my layers has been used, so you have the visual of your layer all around the project, if it has been used as a body, in an action, in a button. So it's much easier to see that. Let me pick a good one here. Let me see a good one here. Probably the Go one. I don't know. Let's see if it's a good one. Yeah, it's a good one. For example, the Go one has been used as a body in a collision, in a hide, in a vector replacement. So visually you can see your layer. Also, you can still set a layer to a specific language as you do in Qwik. No difference here, but the main difference here is the concept of replacement. You can replace the content of a layer in different types. We started this in Qwik 1 with the concept of sprite sheet replacements, and it's still here. Some difference from the current version, mostly the compatibility with Texture Packer. As I mentioned, you can create not one same size framed layers, frame size sprite sheets, as you can do with the sprite sheet exporter. But if you need more control, or even no same size framed sheets, you can do it using Texture Packer, and all you have to do is to point to the Texture Packer file, and Qwik will do the job for you. And this is it's a nice addition for sure. Another thing that we keep here is the move clip replacement. Same thing, but also there's a replacement of the sync, and the sync we need to be in a text layer. So let me click here, sync, and as you can see here, pretty similar to the current one, but a new addition is the ability to enable word clicking. In order to do that, all you have to have is audio files for each word that you need to highlight, and again Qwik will do the code for you. Videos. Videos now, video and web page render in a window instead of the full screen, so you can set it to handle just a part of your screen, or in the full screen, you name it. And also you can establish actions to run when the video finishes, for example. But things that I like the most are the concept of vector replacement. The idea of the vector replacement, for example, you have an image that is just, for example, a red rectangle. You don't need to export an image for that. You can select the layer and say, transform please this layer in a vector replacement. So this way Qwik will create the code for you, capture all the information from the layer, color, size, and things like that, and instead of create an image, it's gonna render it as a vector, save you lots of memory. So it's a nice addition. It's very fast if you decide to use it in testing your development. So you don't have the full image yet, so test it using circles and rectangles. You have the ability to add map replacement, but the two new things that I like the most are, the number one is the concept of dynamic text replacement. And again, I have to pick a layer here, and I have this one here, which is the 0, and I pick that, and what it does is it asks you, okay, this is going to be this text here is going to be dynamic. Which variable should I use to capture the change? So in our case, the score, and that's it. From now on, every time the score variable changes, the dynamic text will change as well. And also we have the concept of text input replacement, which is pretty much the ability to have a space where people can enter information. So it's another feature that people have asked a lot. So you may say, okay, what kind of keyboard do you want to use, and where to save your variable, in a variable or in an external file, for example, if you are planning to use this for further modifications in your project. So let's go to the next one, interactions. Several new icons, as you may see around. The first one, it's a known one, it's add button. As I mentioned before, it shares the same interface of the actions, but again, you are able to create buttons using a layer, using your full page, or even a group if you have a group. And also, you have the same interactions shown on the actions panel here in the button. So pretty simple way to create your buttons now. The drag object. We have drag in quick one, but in K2 much more control. As I mentioned, you can set the specific areas like I showed you in the drag application, demo application. So you can set, okay, my handle is just gonna move in the X axis or in the Y axis. I mean, you have the control. You can set where your objects will move on and what's gonna happen while you are dragging it and after you release it. So again and again, much more control. The same for the swipe object. The swipe object allows you also to define now swipes in some layer, page, or group objects. So it's going to be a nice way to play with things in your application. So you can create small or big swipes on your object as well as. We have a new one here, which is the pinch object. You can again set the pinch for the page, for the layer, or for the group, and you can play with that. What happens while you are pinching or when the pinch is complete. The spin object is an improved one as well as. You can set boundaries, and also you can track what happens if you are rotating clockwise or counterclockwise. So just create your actions and attach it them. No big change on the canvas, neither on the shake. They are still here. Next one is animations. We do have the same animations that we have in Quick 1, but with a few additions. So let's see the linear animation. Now, as I mentioned before, you can animate not only the layer, but the page or a specific group. And also, you can not only define fixed positions for your animations, but randomize one. So you may say this layer, this ball is gonna move randomically in the X or Y axles, and you can set boundaries for that. And this is a top addition here. You should know. Okay, I have no paths, but no big change here besides the one that I mentioned. The last tool set is the physics one, and this is brand new, and let's spend a few times here. Let's start with the environment properties. You may not set it, it's optional, and if you do not do that and start to create physics object, Cricut will set it automatically for you. But this option enables you to have much more control on your environment. You can set here the gravity from the X or Y axles, also the overall scale of the gravity, meaning comparable to the real world, what's going to be the overall size of your objects. Also, you can enable screen rotation. So if you rotate your screen, and this option is enabled, invert physics. And for example, there are some snow flakes falling, and you rotate the screen, they are going to go in the opposite way. You can set the way you want to see the objects. Also, if you want to create virtual walls around the screen, this is an interesting option, especially in this example. If we do not set it and you throw the ball with so much force, it goes to the sky and never returns back. So you may say, I don't want to spend my time to create walls that are going to be out of the screen. So Quick can do it for you just with a few clicks here. You have the buddies, the concept of buddies, and for each element that you want to interact with the physics, you have to set it as a buddy. And you can set it as a dynamic, meaning that it's going to interact with gravity. Static will not interact with the gravity, it's going to be pretty much fixed. Or kinematic, for example, which will interact with physics with some different properties. So you can define an object as a sensor, meaning that it will be there, but which will not show up, but it will interact in collisions. So I mean, lots of options. And another thing that you can do here also, and I think this is a nice one, is the concept of shapes. For example, let me pick a real one here. You have here the ball, and let me go here, body ball. So the ball is not rectangular, so you can say, okay, my ball is a circle, just click it and Quick will select it for you. But if you have, for example, a huge or a very complicated element here or layer, you can set it's a polygon. And if you do set it's a polygon, you can draw the boundaries of the polygon using a path in Photoshop. It must be limited to 8 points, which is the maximum that Corona accepts. Or if you have an even more complex object, drawing object, you can use, as I mentioned before, physics editor, which will create all the code for you if you have more than 8 points in your drawing. So I mean, it's a possibility that you have here. The other thing that you have is the apply force, which is very nice to use if you're having, like in this example, an object that is going to be a throw. You can say, hey, automatically apply force here, or no, just apply force if you're pushing the object or pulling the object. The other option is the physics joint, and it offers almost all joints available, joint types available in Corona, so you can play with that. It's a more complicated one. I hope to have some tutorials in the near future showing some examples, but joints are here also. And the last one is the collision one. So you can say what happens if a body touches another body. In our example here, we have lots of collisions. What happens when the ball touches the floor? So you can come here and say, okay, the ball is the main object. What happens if it touches the floor? Play the following action, for example. And also, if you have a collision, you can tell, okay, dispose the object after the collision. So let's say you have a game with asteroids in a spaceship, and if the spaceship touch the asteroid, explode both and remove them from memory. So we can come here and say, okay, dispose the main body and display the collided body. So again, much easier to create applications for now. But let me show you another thing here, and I think it's a cool one that I forgot to mention. Now you're able to export the current page, the full page of your project. But if your project for example, has 20 pages and you want to export just the current one to the page number 9. You can come in here and say, okay, export from the current 1 to 9, and when you click publish, it will export just this range of pages. This is also another thing that some of you have asked in the past. Now that you saw the final interface and a couple of features, let me talk a little bit about compatibility with QuickOne. I'm working hard to have as much compatibility as possible, but some things are gonna need some tweaks from you if you decide to move one application from QuickOne to Quick2. The first one is all audio will need to be imported before using animation. As you know, in QuickOne you can say directly in the animation window, play an audio after the animation happens, and you can go and pick your audio and that's it. In Quick2 it will not work. You're gonna need to import all the audios as page audios, and then in the animation windows you will point to the audios already imported. So this is one thing that you should understand. But also the debug module will tell you if there are something wrong with your code. Comics mode, as I mentioned before, also is not supported. It's going to be supported in a future release, so if you still need to use the comic mode as is today, you're going to still need to use QuickOne because it's not compatible at this moment. Another thing that will not exist anymore is the option of mute and unmute buttons. You have much more control now, and the toggle option is not available. And this is pretty much because from several applications made with Quick, clear in the top ones not made with Quick at all, people are not using mute and mute buttons to control volume. They have the physical buttons in the device doing that much easily. So that's the main reason that I'm not spend time here with this option. So availability, you can download Quick2 now, the beta version. It's not the final product yet. There's a lots of things to be fixed, tweaked, and added still. So you can download it at this moment at quickshare.com/download Quick2. The trial version will be valid to August 31st, and unusers, you are now able to publish up to 4 pages instead of 2, which is the current one from QuickOne. So all bug finds should be posted in the K2 Bugs forum. Please do not send them via email. I need you telling all users that there is a bug because they may have the same bug. And my plan right now is to use July and August to fix bugs and add a few new features before the launch. Licensing model is changing with Quick2. Now we are going to be able to install Quick officially in 2 different Photoshop machines. If you have, for example, 2 Mac machines with the same Photoshop, it's going to use just one installation, although you have 2 machines. But if you have, for example, a PC and 1 Mac with 2 different Photoshop, it counts as 2 different installations. Quick is tied to your Photoshop installation at this moment. Now, not at this moment, from now on. So meaning that if you have 2 Photoshops, you are covered. If you have 3 Photoshops, you cannot use the same version in 3 Photoshops. Part of the benefits is going to be some free special webinars for paid users only, and some more benefits coming with the new showcase. Let's talk about price. Quick2 is a totally different product than QuickOne. There are so many new things here, and it's time to update things here. So price for new users, the final price for Quick2 full version license is going to be $249.99. So we are going to have an introductory price during the beta period as soon as the beta is more stable. And if you decide to purchase Quick2 during the beta period, you are going to be able to pay at an introductory price of $199.99. Upgrades, if you have a Red Quick, the full upgrade price is going to be $149.99. So during the introductory price, again, beta period, if you decide to purchase the upgrade during the beta period, it's gonna cost you $99.99. And this amount again is still less than 2 hours of a developer. Quick can do much more now. It does not only generates the application for you, but also have very accessible code, so you can learn with that. So we strongly believe there's, even with this price change, it's still a very nice deal for all our users. Saying that, in the next days you're gonna have several new tutorials, not several, but at least a few new tutorials and much more information, demos available for download and new documentation. Meanwhile, please feel free to send me any comments, suggestions through the forums, or also through via email using our email support@quickshare.com. Thank you very much for your time.